2020 to order. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance by Chief Slate and invocation by Pastor Motz. Please remain standing for the invocation after the pledge. Thank you, Pastor. Roll call.
Ambrose?
Here.
Kale?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Vieira? Here. Creighton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Subsequent need items.
Mayor, there are no subsequent need items.
Approval of agenda as posted or amended.
A motion to approve.
Motion by Vieira,
Second.
second by Kale.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Presentations, monthly verbal report by Merced County District 3 Supervisor McDaniel. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'll be real quick. I do have a little bit of an election update. I got a call this morning from Corey Billings, and actually in my old district office last week, which went very well at the community center. Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. That's even better. And so anyway, so I called our elector, the voters, and she was very clear in the community center. The voting information center is opened up on the 31st. And it is on our website, but we did a reintroduction on our Facebook pages and our website, as well as our Merced County information page as well. But it does open up on the 31st. Even as my mobile district office, I had folks coming in to drop off their ballots, and I had to redirect them as well. So thank you, Corey, for giving me that heads up so I could get that cleared up. Also, I wanted to talk about the Ready to Open Small Business Assistance Program. I want to thank the mayor and the council for promoting that here, and especially Councilman Kale. You were very, very good at letting the businesses know about that. My goal was for District 3 to actually spend the most money out of the CARES Act, but we were second, so very good. And it was a total of $446,000 here in the Atwater area for District 3, so that's a good thing. Second of all, I also wanted to touch base on, we have another program that we're putting out here for with the CARES Act, and it's called the Ready to Open Community and Veterans Halls Assistance Program. The applications are now live and we're ready to accept applications. This program was created to provide qualifying organizations who have experienced a loss of revenue due to COVID-19 with reimbursements for certain eligible COVID-19 related expenses. Eligible organizations can apply for up to $10,000. Grants will be awarded on a first come, first served basis. The application period is October 26th through November 16th. Now this is for the nonprofit organizations, say the Veterans Hall for any expenses they incurred because of being shut down, the Women's Club Center, any halls that have had to upgrade. It's kind of the same as the business one, but we're doing it for the nonprofits as well because they rent it out, they're open to the community, any way that we can help them get through this tough time as well. So I also have some flyers on that. And I want to let you know the mobile district office hours, each year because of the schedule, it falls on the New Year's weekend and on the Christmas weekend and also the Thanksgiving weekend. So there will be no mobile district hours, but I'm always available. My mobile phone number is 209-495-7086, as well as my email, which is darren.mcdaniel@countyofmerced.com. Are there any other questions? All right, gonna let me off easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and normally these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If discussion is requested on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Are there any items on the consent calendar that the city council would like to remove for separate discussion and possible action? Ambrose?
Yes, I would like to pull items 6 and item 10.
I'd like to pull 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. Any other council members? Clerk, for the record, we're going to pull 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11 then. 8 by Ambrose, or 10 by Ambrose, I'm sorry. And 6? Okay.
Sorry, motion to approve agenda as, consent calendar as amended.
Second.
Motion by Vieira, second by Kale.
And then also, Mayor, I'm sorry, I meant to speak up before. We'll have to pull the minutes for Audit and Finance Committee as well, because they were not approved at the prior Audit and Finance Committee meeting. So they'll have to be approved at a
Okay.
later meeting.
What number is that? That's
Remove,
4?
I'm sorry. We'll have to remove those.
We can approve those, I just pulled. Okay. So 4 is going to be removed in entirety? Strike 4 then. So we have a motion by Vieira for removing 4, pulling 5, 6,
believe number
7,
2 as
8,
well.
10, and 11.
The treasurer's report, we did not get that approved at the Finance and Audit Committee.
Right.
So we have to pull item number 2.
Okay,
Okay, so
so 2 as well.
we're pulling or we're striking 2 out of it? Gina? Yeah,
So, the Audit and Finance Committee did not meet. However, they would be, if they had met, they would be recommending that the City Council approve the treasurer's report. So I think we still want that to happen at
yeah,
this meeting.
so we're gonna
do okay.
leave that, so 2 will stand.
Gotcha.
So City Clerk, we'll go back over this again. We're gonna strike 4 completely out. We're gonna pull 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 11.
Correct. Thank you.
Motion by Vieira, second by Kale to approve remainder.
Vieira,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 5, call for bids, rejecting all bids for unleaded and diesel fuel delivery services and a card lock system for the corporation yard, and approving specifications and authorizing re-advertising and calling for bids for bulk unleaded and diesel fuel delivery services for the corporation yard. Director Holsinger.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council, for your attention on this item.
So before we go into
Sure.
presentations, I pulled that because council in the past has given direction to get out of the fueling business at the corporation yard. And the desire's been over the years that we go to a supply base within the city limits of Atwater. So my comments on this, council, is that we don't need to be in the business of the fueling business. We have multiple gas stations, card locks, other things. So I would like staff to go back and bring us something that would get us out of the business as soon as possible. So any of your comments, council? Support, oppose, concerns?
I'd want to know if is it a money saving, is that to save us money or what, I mean, what would be the benefit?
Well, the regulatory, my desire is that we get out of the fueling business because there's other companies in town that do that. So Merced County, they do that with the sheriff's department, other areas where their vehicles are throughout the county. So we could do something within the city of Atwater to do the same thing, then we'd be free of the regulatory burden from the state of California, the fueling system and the oils and all the other stuff, along with freeing up our staff time and resources for that type of business, and a better tracking and monitoring and management of those dollars, how they're spent, what we're spending the majority on, and those private companies create a better analysis of what we're doing and what we're getting.
As long as there's still a way to track it.
Yes, that's the main intent, is to get micro detail on what we're doing, as opposed to now we don't know if they're filling up a tractor or pickup truck or whatever, where our expenses are going, so.
At the discretion of the council, and not to upset my deputy director so she doesn't hit me, I would like to respond to your request. The item that's in front of you this evening for consideration in the direction that was previously given to staff was for the consideration is staff, through your direction, going out and seeking the best economic opportunities for the city with relative to cost and things of that nature. And that was the purpose and the intent of the item, is to revisit our suppliers, what those cost savings potentially could be. Are we using local providers? There was a different sets of criteria. If the request by the council is to phase out our petroleum service at the corp yard, that's a different request. So we want to make sure, and I'll defer to whatever the deputy director's will would be in this.
So on that, yeah, so I'm re-trivializing this because we've given that push to go that direction to get out of the business. So before you go back out to find bulk services for this, we want to stop and get out of the business.
So if I'm understanding the direction clearly, staff would be more than willing to look into that. But in order to do so, we would need to continue to have either a card lock system in place or to have this bulk delivery in place as we move forward with doing that. One of the reasons that this is in front of you tonight is when we went back out to look at a process where there was just a card lock system, the 2 bids that we received, we didn't even get a bid for that card lock system. So we ended up separating it out of that bid specification and making it its own that we're going to bring to council on November 9th. And there's an email that the director had shared with council before the meeting. That is one of the ways that we're looking at utilizing existing services or local providers that know of card lock systems that could benefit the city of Atwater and could benefit the community as us being good stewards of that money by implementing or utilizing a system similar to what other cities around us or other neighboring communities use. This item in front of you would just allow for us to have a more cost-effective bulk delivery for the time being. If the council's direction is for us to remove that altogether, we can absolutely look into that.
So also in that, we need to emphasize that you're using a couple words of card lock only. There's new technology that with fleet pricing and fleet services that you're not limited to, and including only card lock. So
Okay.
like I mentioned earlier, I think to the city manager, our county sheriff's department, they go to Los Banos and they go to Snelling, they go everywhere, and they have to purchase fuel. So there's examples that we could maybe piggyback on. That somebody's doing something really good right now. I think the sheriff's department's doing a really good system. They track what's going on. They can see where their fuel costs are at. So maybe look into what they're doing, or private sector side of track and trace of what we're trying to find out. Where are we buying our fuel? What are we doing? And then we have a policy in the city ordinance where we're supposed to buy local. So we want to try to consume those goods locally at the best possible price. Maybe not always the exact wholesale price, but consistency, because we're not going to be buying per gallon. We might be buying more at a bulk rate. So the county would probably be able to help you with that.
Sure, I can absolutely look into that. As far as us no longer having bulk fuel delivery, that would require us to decommission the pumps and the storage out there. And again, that would have to be a project in and of itself. And I would need, or the city's fleet, the Public Works Department would need some other system in place before we could get rid of that altogether.
Well, it's obvious, yes.
So I'll definitely take council's direction, or I had already received direction from the city manager's office relative to having a system in place and presenting it to council before the end of the year for a card system. Maybe not necessarily a card lock system, but some sort of fuel system that could be used for our fleet that is more modern than what our existing system is. This item in front of you, or item number 5, is just for re-advertising of bids for bulk diesel and gas delivery to the courtyard.
So kind of for the time being, to
Well,
get us
for the
through
time-
until we
It-
make a decision to or not to
Well, no,
put something else
Well,
in place, or what?
what I'm afraid of is that there's no need to go through all this process if we're going to be out of it in 3 months. So what's the purpose of going out to bid? We already have the supplier, we already have this going, we're going to be getting out, so why are we going to go through that exercise?
Understood. Direction is clear.
Okay.
I think I would just need, I think I would just need council's direction then to reject all bids, but we're not re-advertising. That's what I'm hearing.
So we would need to re-agendize that.
Council could, since the rejection of the bids is on the agenda, council could choose to reject.
And then not authorize staff to move forward with
Correct, if that's the council's wishes.
So I'll make that motion of rejecting all bids for unleaded and diesel fuel delivery services and card lock system for the corporation yard.
I'll second.
Second by Raymond. Motion by Creighton, comment by Ambrose.
Just have a quick question. How long is that process going to take for us to completely get away from housing with the pumps and everything at the yard?
So if we're piggybacking off of another public agency, it would just be, it would easily be something I could present to you at the next council meeting. If we're not piggybacking and I would have to do bid specifications and put together a packet, I could still realistically have that, it would be a push, but still realistically have that as a November 9th agenda item. And then it would be out to bid for 20 days. So December, sometime in the middle of December before the holidays.
So if we were to go this route and not get any more or any new bids, are we going to have enough fuel and so forth
It
for
will
our
continue.
fleet?
You would.
The goal is to continue our operations
You
without
would.
changes.
You would have, yeah, you would have your existing fuel delivery. And then there are still other, yes, you would.
Okay. Thank
Call
you.
for the question.
Raymond,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Viera,
No.
Creighton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Madison. Item 6, resolutions declaring the appointment of Tyler Button to the office of District 2 City Council Member and to serve the term beginning December 2020 and ending December 2024 on the City Council as if elected to the district election on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. City Manager, you want to
Yeah, I'll
elaborate
start.
on this?
Yes, at the last meeting, Richard Vang, Deputy City Clerk, provided a presentation on this matter, and he's also here available to answer any questions that the council might have.
So I didn't have any questions. However, and this is just my opinion. This is something that is really important in some people's lives. So just to have it pass through on the consent calendar, I didn't really care for that. So that's why I wanted it at least to be opened up, discussed, and at least verbally and on the record, tell them congratulations and welcome aboard.
Okay, with that, I'd like, Richard, can you come up, please? And because there's some people that are confused on it, because we did the city treasurer was unopposed and didn't go the same process Tyler went. So it wasn't the city, it was more of the elections department. Can you explain?
Yes. So, thank you, Mayor, City Council. So historically, the common practice was for the county to confirm with the city regarding which elections were to be placed on the ballot and which elections were to be appointed. However, this year, for some reason, it was handled a bit differently from the county registrar's office, and the ballots were printed with only the city clerk, city treasurer, and the District 1 election on the ballots, and District 2 was left off of the ballot, which is why tonight we're asking for council's action to appoint candidate Tyler Button.
So it's more of a procedure, parliamentary procedure through the elections office that we do that here because of the way it was handled.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so does that clarify everybody's,
For me, it does, yes.
okay. Thank you.
Can I just add?
Yes.
something?
So Tyler still goes in the books as elected, though, correct?
Raymond, you're
Yeah,
breaking up really
I
bad.
think the question is will he still be as elected? And the answer is yes. So he will be included when we certify and canvass the election results. He'll be there that night and be sworn in the same time.
Okay, so this time I'll open up to public comment. Any members of the public like to come forward on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Council, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we declare the appointment of Tyler Button to the office of District 2 City Council Member and to serve the term beginning December 2020 and ending December 2024 on the City Council as if elected at the district election on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020.
I'll second.
Motion by Kale, second by Raymond.
Viera,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, real quick.
Go ahead, Brian.
Mr. Button's not in attendance today. I spoke with him the other day, and unfortunately,
He's
he had
here.
a possible exposure to COVID, so he is in quarantine at home. Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
So
Then
he
he's
is,
good.
he's
Brian.
clean.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll bring you up. Come on up.
And I'm glad he's there. Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you.
Well, I did test negative, so that has all been cleared with the but that was a few days ago. So
Okay,
just
we're going to do the item. We have a motion on it, and then I'm
Okay.
going to ask you to come back up to the podium.
okay.
Viera,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes, welcome
Mo-
aboard.
Motion passes.
So why don't you come up? We're going to take a couple of minutes here to introduce, we're not in November yet, so a couple of months, the newest council member of the city of Atwater. Why don't you come up and introduce yourself?
Okay. Wasn't planning on talking, but that's all right. Well, I do. I just would like to publicly comment. I agree with the motion. So
Fabulous.
I don't have any disagreements there. I'm just really looking for. I mean, you guys have done put in a lot of hard work. It's been a tumultuous last few years. Last year, especially stressful for everybody. And my wife was wondering why I wanted to jump into this in the middle of 2020 when 2020 seems to be not a very fun year. But I look forward to serving Atwater. I love the city of Atwater very dearly. Moved here in 1990. My parents moved me here in 1999, and I just look forward to listening and working hard for Atwater. And yeah.
Thank you. Item 7, approving the general services agreement with Eco Green Solutions for LED retrofit project.
Mayor, City Council, this is a routine item, and I will ask Madison if she has anything to add other than what's in the staff report, and then entertain any questions from the council.
Council, you have any questions?
Nothing to add in addition to the staff report, but happy to answer any questions.
I have no questions.
Direction?
No questions.
Okay, I'll open it up to the public comment at this time. Any public comment? Any public comment on this item, number 7? Seeing none, bring back to council for direction.
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation. Adopt resolution number 3189-20, approving a general service agreement in a form approved by city attorney with Eco Green Solutions to convert city-owned lights to energy-efficient LED retrofit project, city project number 20-14, and authorize and direct the city manager or her designee to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
I'll second.
Motion by Viera, second by Ambrose.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Viera,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 8, agreements. Awarding a general services agreement to Pack Machine Company, Inc. of Sacramento, California for the purchase and installation of a temporary portable wastewater pump for Castle Interceptor project.
Mayor, this is another routine item. I will ask Madison to come to advise if she has any new information other than what's in the staff report, and also be available to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Again, yeah, nothing to add. This is definitely something that is will be and is going to be a cost savings to the council and to the community. And I'm available for any questions.
Any members of the public like to come forward for this item? Seeing none, close public comment, bring it back to council for direction.
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Viera, second by Ambrose.
Raymond?
Yeah.
Viera?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 11, awarding a general, wait a minute. We added 10 to that too, didn't we?
Mayor, I do have a public comment for consent item number 9.
Item number 10, awarding a general construction contract to Phase 1 construction of Atwater, California for the Eileen Coburn Pedestrian Improvement Phase 2 project.
Janelle, did you say you had a comment?
I do. I have a public comment card for consent item number 9.
We've already approved 9. We'll go ahead and read that. We'll hold off on 10.
It's just a card. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, comment card.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Do you need to read it, or?
Want to read it?
It's a request to speak.
Oh, a request.
Okay. Who we have? So we're going to go back to item number 9, awarding the general service construction contract to F. LaDucia of Stockton, California for the Mitchell School Area Pedestrian Improvement Project. Director Thompson, do we have any public comment?
For Reggie Bosch, sorry.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Reggie Bosch. I live at the corner of Heights, Herman, and Mitchell. So I got a call, or I got contacted about putting curb and gutter in front of my house. At my current residence, it's almost a 5 corners over there. But anyway, they want to put a curb, 4 feet of grass, then a sidewalk. That's going to put your sidewalk in the middle of my driveway, and I'm not going to have a place to park. If that's the case, in which I haven't seen the blueprints, but I have a circle drive, so if you take one of them out, then I'm not going to be able to park a moped. But at the intersection, what I understand is the concrete will just stop right there at Heights, will not return on Herman. Well, I've been at that house since 1972, and in January, when it rains really good, we have a flood. So if I'm parked in the street, I'm gonna need a boat to get to my truck. And there's a stop sign there, so if I'm parked in front of the stop sign, I don't know what that does for us either. So I had a meeting with Greg Thompson, I believe it was October 1st. He assured me that the following week that he would get back to me. Danny Ambrose has reached out to me a few times, and thank you a lot for being heads up and include me in this.
Yeah, so you guys were talking today on the email.
So that's where I'm at with the project.
Okay.
Across the street, you guys put in curb and sidewalk. Curb, sidewalk. Then I have a place to park. But at my neighbor's house, across the alley, as she parks her car into the driveway, and she just has a little car, she sticks out into the approach. So a wheelchair is not gonna go straight down the sidewalk. They're gonna have to go back into the street and then come back up. So Mr. Thompson said, well, we kind of overlook certain things. Well, that's kind of a mistake, so let's don't make that same mistake twice.
Okay. We'll have staff get back to you and make sure we get return contact. That way, and then you can
Okay.
share the history also of the flooding and stuff in the wintertime.
What's that?
You could also share with them some of the historical events that happen around that area in the wintertime.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yeah.
and I apologize for the record, that was actually for item 10. I spoke to them prior to the meeting, and I gave them the wrong item. It was for item number 10. It's for
Okay.
the Eileen Colburn
Still-
project.
Sir, so you know, it's still relevant, and we'll have staff get back to you guys. Okay. See you, manager. Okay. So we're still, let's redo this for the record. Item 10, awarding a general service contract to Phase 1 construction of Atwater, California for the Eileen Coburn Pedestrian Improvement Phase 2 project. Thompson.
Okay, so the items, just for your information, that relate to the Mitchell School project and the Eileen Colburn project are both were both CMAQ projects. So they're both federally funded projects. They have both have gone through the design phase of each of those improvement projects before we apply for and program money through the local association of governments that is our funding hub and resource for the channeling of those dollars to the community of Atwater for those purposes. In each of these instances, I want to make sure that we assure the council that for both of those projects, that right-of-way surveys were conducted on both projects for the improvements, for the installation of those, for how each of those improvements would integrate with the property owners in that area. We understand the concern of the citizens, and that there have been many improvements that have been made, some of which through the city, and I'm not making any generalized accusation here, but some of which those improvements were installed without permit, without encroachment, without coordination with city offices, and unfortunately, the installation of some improvements have crossed property boundaries and property lines. So. We understand that this is a difficult transition in some cases, but we have done our very best to work with homeowners to try to secure right-of-way certification and to get right-of-entry forms that would help ease that transition between the property and the improvements. But in every case, right-of-way surveys do exist and certifications, and all of the construction that are contemplated by both of these projects, so that we are 100% clear. All of the contemplated construction is occurring within the city's property,
Okay.
not on private property.
Okay, this time I'll reopen it back up to public comment. Any members from the public? We already had your public comment technically on 9, so what's the legal? Yeah, come back, yeah, you can come back up, please. Then I want to make a comment before you say what you're about to say. I just for the sake of government and everything else, I don't like the cold, hard fact stuff. I mean, these are neighbors, they're explaining things, so, we're not San Francisco or LA where it's ice cold, so please say what you have to say, but those are my views, and I'm going to elaborate on it a little bit.
No, I understand. My name's Pam Bosch. That's my husband. I do understand it's the city's property, but understand if it goes curb, it's going to go 10 feet from our front door. If you do curb and gutter without gutter, a big thing of grass, and then sidewalk, I don't understand. It's the same sidewalk across the street from us, got the curb and gutter. I don't know why that can't continue to our house, because there is an alley between our neighbors and us. And she does have the curb and gutter, the grass, and the sidewalk, which she parks on the sidewalk because there's nowhere for her to park. If there's an alley separating us, couldn't it go to the curb and gutter without following her pattern? Just for the niceness of not putting the sidewalk in our front door. So it would make our house look better. It would make the whole area look better. But to do that patch of grass, really, we will have nowhere to park. So that's just my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Any other members of the public that come forward on this item at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment and bring it back to the council.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead, Councilman Raymond.
I went out to the boss his home with Councilman Ambrose, and what we saw was quite troubling because, as they said, if you really, they're going to open their front door and be on the road. So I think there are some issues, but obviously it's going to be the will of the council. But I'm not in favor of it, at least over there, because it's just like you said. They're neighbors, they're residents of the city. You want everybody to be able to work together. And the way it's going to be set up, I just think it's going to be more dangerous. And I don't know. I just didn't like the way it was set up.
Thank you. Ambrose?
Yeah, I just also want to comment that I understand that this right here is going to be, we're doing this for the safety of the pedestrians that are walking down that street every day, especially our students that are going to be walking to schools. If we have vehicles that are going to be crossing over onto the sidewalks, or even potentially blocking the stop sign from people driving by, if their vehicles are out there on the street blocking the stop signs, or even blocking some of the kids walking, who's to say that the people driving the vehicles are even going to stop? There are a lot of issues currently at that area, but like everyone else has already stated, these folks, they are our neighbors. They're practically just down the road from me, and I get it. Their property is in the middle of one of the bigger parts of this project, and I just can't move forward with that, knowing that there's going to be more issues there going forward.
Okay. Caleb, do you need to say something?
Well, I was going to say, I have, in my district, we have a very similar thing. And me personally, I'm with you. I hate curb, grass, sidewalk. I'm okay with curb next to sidewalk. The grass has a tendency. This city, a long time ago, put trees in there, and what they do is ruin the sidewalk. I mean, but, yeah, I have a problem with that too, and I understand your plight and sympathize with you too. So.
Yeah.
Mr. Thompson, have we taken into consideration the flooding issue that's being had over there as well? Is there something in this plan to correct that?
The plans currently call for the installation of curb and gutter as well. And some of those areas of the city are unimproved. Not only do they not hold sidewalks, they don't have curb and gutter assemblies. They're looking at those kinds of things. We can't reconstruct the half section of the street, but there are quite a bit of improvements that are planned. And just so the council knows, I understand the mayor's comments and the rest of the comments by council about working with our neighbors. I sincerely do. That's why we took the time to meet with Mr. Bosch out at his property. We also told him that we would be looking into seeing if his request could be honored by realigning the sidewalk to a non-mow strip transition, as opposed to just going with the space in between them. And of course, we do intend on doing that, but the type of funding and the type of project, it may mean either a dramatic delay, but it also may mean a substantial amount of redesign work. And that can't be done. In some cases, it can't be accommodated immediately. But in some cases, it's truly necessary.
So this is what I want to do then. We opened this up for public comment, closed that already. So I would like to give staff direction that we do need to award this so that we stay on time with the funding and everything else. There are money set aside for change orders and things like that. This is going to potentially change. But I'd like myself, the city manager, and staff, and the homeowners to go back out there, Councilman Ambrose, go back out, look at the concerns. There's money built into this project already for changes and things like that would allow us to continue this and approve this tonight so we don't lose time on the construction bidding and all that other stuff. It doesn't sound like we're asking to move the earth closer to the moon, so maybe we can find some kind of compromise or
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I was not done because I still had more comments.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. And then more has happened, so I'll tell you where I'm at with this. I understand time frame and money and all of that. But if this was my house and you were moving a sidewalk 10 feet from my front door on a property that I owned, whether or not it had to do with the city or not, I would want something in writing when I stopped fighting for it. They've been there 40 years. This is their home, and I'm not in favor of taking anybody's word for it. I'm more upset that they're going through this flooding the flooding is so bad over there that they can't park on the street during the flooding. I don't know exactly where their house is, but how much time, if the people want to move the project forward, how much more time? I don't think delaying this until the next council meeting is going to upset everything for months and months and months. And once it starts rolling, until we make sure that everybody's done their due diligence and this ball starts rolling, do these folks have some reassurance that there's going to be more than 10 feet from that sidewalk to their front yard? I agree, it should be road, a curb, and then the sidewalk over here. You don't need that 4-foot mow strip. That was just my thought, and I didn't mean to be rude, Mayor, but I was still getting questions answered before you started pushing forward. So I just wanted to get all of my questions
No,
answered.
those are very good questions. Timing is critical because the programming of these monies. Greg, do you want to identify the timing and the programming, if it is truly, in fact, time sensitive?
Most of these and the programming of the money is time sensitive, but I honestly feel what would be a more informed decision by the council is if staff could provide you maps with this specific situation. I think what would be extremely helpful, and I'm not suggesting that we be heartless, and I'm not suggesting that we don't work with the homeowner. That's exactly what I would suggest we do. But I do want to make sure that the council is advised as to where the property lines occur, what the property design is, and what alternatives we could potentially look at that might make this a little bit more digestible by the homeowner.
I think having a map or some photos or something that we could propose to the homeowner would make it much easier for me to make an informed decision versus feeling very rushed and kind of to the point. This has to be approved at a certain time. And I just want to do to them what I would want them to do to me and my home.
Absolutely.
So the question is, Greg, November 1st meeting, of the first meeting in November, if we don't approve it tonight, we're okay November 1st, or do we have a deadline tonight?
I don't believe we have a deadline tonight. I would look into
Then
that, but either way, Mr. Mayor, to your point, it doesn't sound like the council is willing to move forward to jeopardize this either way, so it still warrants additional information.
Okay, so then I make a motion that we postpone this to the first meeting in November, like Councilman Vieira.
I would feel much better if we had some kind of compromise that we could make with the homeowners. If this was 30 or 40 feet out, that's one thing, but 10 feet from the front door, I know that we're somewhat similar in age. I have 11 grandchildren. That's a short distance from your front door to the sidewalk.
And what if we also produce a staff report of our investigation?
I want to see maps and pictures in that report,
I think it's
please.
completely appropriate to show you where the actual property line resides, where the improvements currently are, what potentially.
That would be wonderful.
As an alternative.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, City Manager, you got that?
So we'll look at that at the
Sure.
next meeting then?
Correct.
Great.
So you need a second on your motion then to table this until next meeting then?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second it.
Vieira,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Kale,
Yes.
Creighton,
Yes.
motion passes.
So we'll reach out to you tomorrow through the City Manager's office and set something up. Thank you. Item 11, awarding general services agreement to Pacific Polymers, Inc. of Galt, California, doing business as American Foam Experts for the Fire Station 41 roof repair project. Richard, that was already, we closed the public comment on the last item.
Mayor, City Council, this is another routine item. I will ask Madison if she has anything to add to her staff report and to be available to answer any questions.
The only thing I'd like to add, Mayor and City Council, is that direction of this item is vital in conjunction with our existing HVAC project for Fire Station 41. So part of the work that needs to get done in addition to replacing the HVAC units out there is obviously the roof repairs. And as mentioned in the staff report, the previous work that was done was a temporary fix by the Public Works Department 5 years ago. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Any members of the public like to come forward on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Council, any questions or direction?
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second.
Motion by Vieira, second by Ambrose.
Hale,
Yes.
Ambrose,
Yes.
Raymond,
Yes.
Vieira,
Yes.
Creighton.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Reports and presentations from staff. Item 14, verbal quarterly update regarding the city's recreation and community events. Mr. Billings?
Hold on just a second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. It's an honor to be here this evening to provide you with a first quarter update for your recreation and events department.
Mr. Billings, are they putting this up on the website too?
Yes.
Okay, good.
COVID-19 has hit the recreation and events department extremely hard. We've had to close or cancel all activities, including multiple hall and park rentals, all spring and sporting events, both city-ran and private. Also, this has led to the cancellation of an ongoing rental agreement for the community center by a local church. While we may have had some closures, we have looked at doing things a little bit differently in the city of Atwater. And that has become my motto with the Recreation and Events Department. It may look a little different, but we're going to do it. So the Recreation and Events Department came along and we decided, let's do something, while we have our traditions here in Atwater, let's do something fun and unique. And so that's when we came up with the porch parade, and there was a car parade, and we did a wonderful 9/11 event. We're looking forward to hosting our first fall porch parade coming up in this week, as well as a virtual Veterans Day program. What you're seeing here is in the talks, a reverse Christmas parade is being put together at the current time so that we make sure that our traditions here in Atwater remain in some way or another. It may be different, but yet we're still going to proceed and have a lot of fun here in Atwater. We continue to work on a lot of different projects in the city of Atwater. While we may be closed, we're still moving forward. We're very happy to have worked with the Parks Department, and our parks are reopened in Atwater. The completion of Veterans Park, Splash Park, was finished this year, as just a few days ago. So thank you very much to everybody who worked on that. And that took a large portion of funding coming from the park funds and some of the other funds. So this is a really great and exciting program that was put together with the leadership of Councilwoman Vieira and the park staff. So that's wonderful. We look forward to a lot of new programs coming forward. You know, as things hopefully start to progress and we don't roll backwards, we look forward to bringing some of our traditions back and some of our programs back, as even our sports programs. One of the exciting things I'm really looking forward to is in December, if everything remains the same, our local Rotary Club has stepped up and is sponsoring a crafts day for kids, where kids will be able to come in small groups and put together a craft, maybe to give to mom and dad as a Christmas present, or grandma and grandpa, just something fun to do for the kids. As we all know, the kids in our community, they need things to do at this point in time. So as a recreation department, we're looking at trying to find some unique alternatives. I do want to say our tennis court keys, the sales of our tennis court keys have gone through the roof. We have sold more tennis court keys this year than any before. That has to do with all of the other tennis courts in the community and surrounding communities being closed. We were fortunate enough to be able to keep ours open, so we are doing great. We are at 98% of the annual budget as far as income for the tennis court keys, and we're only a quarter of the way through it. I have begun one of the things that when I came to you, I said was the hardest was that I didn't have any idea how much staff time was being put into each of our programs, whether that be soccer, whether that be baseball, we didn't have any idea. So one of the things that I have begun doing is a timesheet audit from 17, 18, 19, and now 20. I'm looking at every single timesheet, going through them and saying, oh, look, Joe worked and he worked baseball for 10 hours, and I'm putting it down. So I'm going to get an idea of how many hours it took and then how much roughly per employee to get a generalized cost of what it has cost us in the past to run some of the programs. This was the biggest question when I came to you when I was hired and brought forward in July is, why don't we know these costs? Well, this is going to hopefully give us better direction as to figure out how we can figure out what the costs are for each of these programs. So I'm excited to be moving forward with that project. So what does it look like for the budget? Salaries, we're at 8.9% of the part-time salaries this year. We have really been able to cut back, and obviously without events going on, I haven't needed the part-time staff. So I've cut back my hours as far as possible. The hard part is our rental income is at zero. We had planned for $57,000 in rental income this year for the community center alone. And unfortunately, so far this year is zero, and it doesn't look like until possibly spring, if things continue to improve, will we be able to have that. Our revenue totals, we had budgeted $173,625, and our actuals to date are $905 as far as revenue comes in from the recreation side of it. Our expenditures, while we've budgeted $183,000, you're at $11,538.71, and that includes the part-time salary of your staff members. In conclusion, we have one employee in the recreation department who's been with us for 15 years. We want to congratulate Benny Cardenas for 15 years of service to the community of Atwater, and that's a huge, huge accomplishment for a part-time staff member. I've included a few other things in your reports that I'm going to just leave for your guys' perusal, but I am happy to answer any questions regarding recreation and events.
Awesome. Council, do you have any questions?
What's a reverse parade?
So reverse parade, we're hoping to, great question. We're hoping that the possibility is our community members will stay in their car, and we will have stations set up where we can keep them more than 6 foot apart and things like that, but you will drive through and each of these stations, whatever the theme is that the Christmas Parade Committee comes up with, each booth will have it decorated appropriately. There's rumor Santa Claus might be somewhere in that area, but our community will stay in their vehicles and drive through the parade rather than the parade driving through in our community gathering as a whole.
Oh.
It's also what is being done in Turlock and other surrounding communities.
So to describe that, paint a little bigger picture on what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. Main Street, we usually put our chairs out and watch the parade go by us. What you're proposing and the business are proposing, station those parade, what do you call them?
Vendors,
Stationary
participants.
Yeah, participants will be stationed along the parade route, and then you'll be able to drive your family through the parade route. The Christmas parade will be stationary as you guys pass through. And then there'll be a question, would foot traffic ever be permitted through there?
No.
Not the current lockdown state?
Correct. All foot traffic, including Candy Cane Lane, Christmas Tree Lane in the larger cities, has been completely shut down. They will not be allowing it this year, so we are taking lead from those communities. For health and safety issues, it will be you must remain in your vehicle.
So this time you're planning for the lockdown not to change?
At this point in time, according to the numbers that we're seeing, we're not expected to go
Okay.
up.
I wanted to discuss that because people were thinking by Christmas, the election environment, the coronavirus will be over.
We hope, and there's always room that if things do improve, that, again, like I said earlier.
Kind of fluid?
It's different. The year is different. If everything comes to a point where we can do it, then absolutely by all means, I think that committee is very excited to move forward, but they need to plan. At this point, they needed to start creating a plan, and this is their first idea that they've thrown out to me.
Pretty awesome. Ambrose, Kale, do you have any questions? Raymond, do you have any questions?
No.
I just want to thank you very much, Corey. I was just looking at the figures, and it looks like we're losing $457,920 because of COVID through our recreation department. And that being said, you've done an amazing job in getting out there. I hear nothing but positive things from the different parade on 4th of July, Porch parades, everything. I've heard nothing but positive things coming out of you, and I commend you for your service and everything you've done for us. And I know the other day, as I was coming, other night, as I was coming back from dinner, I went up First Street, and I'm like, what in the world are all these cars doing here? And there's a movie going on, a horror movie going on First Street, and I commend those people too for great Halloween atmosphere they got going on there. But again, Corey, you've done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Great job, thank you. Hopefully 2021 brings a lot better things too.
We all hope.
Item 15, authorization to remit mandatory minimum penalties to Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board for the Atwater Regional Wastewater Treatment Facility for the period of June of 2012 through April of 2013. Director Thompson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I'm not sure that any of the current membership of the council was around when this had actually occurred, but just for clarification, what we're looking for action on is that when the city of Atwater constructed their brand new wastewater treatment facility located out on Burke Crane Road, it involved and required the transition between the old wastewater facility and the new one for operations. So you ceased operations at one plant and began immediately operating at the other. One of the major differences between these two plants was the level at which you treated your water. I mean, one was a very basic water treatment plant. The other is a tertiary treatment plant where you claimed a tremendous broad spectrum treatment and cleaning of that water so that it could be used for a number of uses. One of the constituents that's identified for treatment did not meet the current levels at that time, and a notice of violation was issued when they jump-started the new plant. That has, number one, been remedied. The plant has been in proper operation since this time, and with no new violations issued. And the staff, including our regulatory officer, has been in continuous communication with the regional board regarding this. This was a temporary setback. The city has remedied the situation, and it occurred because of the transition between one plant and the other.
Okay, at this time I'll open up to the public. Any members of the public like to come forward on this item, please come to the podium, state your name. Seeing none, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the council for direction or comment.
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation as presented.
Second.
Motion by Vieira, second by Ambrose.
Raymond?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Vieira?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Do we have any speaker cards?
Mayor, I do have speaker cards. I also have 2 comments that I received via email as well.
Can you do the emails first?
Yes. October 24, 2020. Good evening, Janelle. I was viewing the agenda for the City Council meeting of Monday, October 26, 2020, and I was interested in learning more about some of the items that are listed on the consent calendar. That said, Would it be possible for you to pull items 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11 from the consent calendar for further discussion and explanation by staff? I do not have any specific questions in regards to any of these items, but would like to hear staff's presentation and any questions that council members may have as well. Thank you for your time and consideration in regards to this request. Respectfully, Patrick Ferretta. Atwater City Council. SWAG has spent almost 2 years attempting to develop a partnership with the City of Atwater that would benefit the youth in the city and almost improve the facility and grounds at Veterans Park. When the discussions began, the City of Atwater deemed to be on board and excited about the partnership. Over time, the discussion has changed from being a definite to a hypothetical situation. The city discussed numbers with us regarding renting the youth center and the athletic facilities that were said to be able to work, not to be hypothetical. There were contracts developed between both sides that were very close to being signed and in place. In fact, SWAG did sign a contract and waited for the city to sign their portion of the document. The City of Atwater has now seemed to reverse course on any verbal or contractual commitments with no clear explanation as to why. The answers we've received to speak to the fact that there are no contracts signed and in place. We can only do our part. In fact, we have done our part. Our goal is to come to an agreement in an effort to serve the youth of this community. Veterans Park is dilapidated and needs a lot of work done. Work that we have already started based on the fact that the city approved us to start the work and move into an office inside the youth center. All 4 leaders of SWAG are Atwater raised and would love to and appreciate the opportunity to give back to the community we grew up in. Please consider our request and also consider how much the kids in the community would benefit from this partnership, and most importantly, how they have missed out on during the pandemic. It would benefit the community prepared and have Veterans Park ready for use once restrictions are lifted. Thank you, Eddie Frazier. Students with aspiring goals. For the first comment card, I have Richard Johnson.
Welcome.
Richard Johnson, 1675 Drakely Avenue, Atwater, California, our home of 18 years. I'm here tonight to tell you that this has gone on for far too long. It seems like many lifetimes have gone by. I've lost my mother, lost my brother-in-law survived a coma, 3 more grandchildren were born. Our son, a U.S. Marine, was promoted several times. Our youngest daughter joined the Navy. It's already been a lifetime since we've seen her. All these things have happened, yet this city and its corrupt city leaders have us stuck, not finding a way out of the dark shadow of corruption here in this city. Always looking over our shoulder, constantly watching our backs, has sucked all the joy out of our hearts for far too long. I hope this thing's on, because the last few meetings you guys had it off and the audio and video off for some reason. Today I say shame on all of you for allowing this to happen to us. As one human to another, how could you just stand by and let this happen? For far too long, knowing we were thirsty, hungry, needing a shower, needing to brush our teeth, water our dogs. This sucks. I used to believe that everyone had some good in them. These days, I'm finding that really hard to believe. So since this has been going on, Petro, Joseph, Velasquez, Tina Lamison, Jim Price, the list goes on and on. They are all gone. But what about the 2 of us, my wife and I? Knowing we exposed their dirty deeds for what they and all of you up there on the dais have done to my wife and I, does anybody think that the Johnsons really need to be made whole again? If not, I ask, where's the sense of community? Where's your heart? Better yet, do you have compassion for other human beings that are suffering? Or do you go home to your perfect lives with running water, hop into a nice warm bubble bath, and forget about us? If so, I ask, If so, I ask this. If I don't care for my brethren, will my Lord and Savior care for me?
Thank you. Any other members of the public that come forward? Or do you have another speaker?
I have more.
One more?
No, I have several.
Okay.
Next, I have Melvin McKinney.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm here to speak on behalf of SWAG, an acronym for Students with Aspiring Goals. And so I think SWAG was first started because they didn't feel that there was a need of our youth in Merced County that were being noticed. If they played athletics, they really weren't being noticed at different schools and universities, Division I, Division II, NAI. And so I'm a SWAG dad. I've been there from the inception. When they had the Courtesy Chevrolet in Merced, it was the parents and the kids who rolled out the turf for that field and the weight room. But if you look at SWAG, Students with Aspiring Goals, they focus on students. And so I'm a single dad. And so I learned very early on that for my son to really have a chance at going to college and realizing his dream, that football was probably going to be a way to do that. I knew he was good, and SWAG would be in the stands all the time, and they knew he was good. And the coaches for these high schools really don't promote these kids athletically the way they should. So when SWAG started, it was just football for guys. Now SWAG, Students with Aspiring Goals, has football, basketball, soccer, baseball for the boys, and the girls have softball and basketball. So they've grown tremendously. And I think that it would be a good addition if they could have the building out here in Atwater, because I think they work with the kids. I mean, the people from UC Merced were the ones that would come down to tutor. So it wasn't just a sporting complex. We had a room, and we had computers that were donated. And so there's an educational side to SWAG that I don't think people realize. And my son was fortunate enough to go through the 7-on-7 with SWAG, and they take him to all these different big universities where they probably won't go. But then you have the Division II schools, and that's who SWAG contacted. The coach came down here from North Carolina to work out these kids. And right now, currently, my son is on scholarship in Kansas, playing football, getting his 4-year degree. And I just think it would be a really good idea for some of these kids here to be involved with students with aspiring goals. You know, some of them come from hard backgrounds. I'm a single dad, so I raised my son by myself. And some of them come from backgrounds, so they need an outlet. And this is the perfect outlet, and I think the kids and the youth would benefit greatly if they had it here. And I mean, they could pick up the flag football, they could pick up the flag, you know, I mean, the baseball and everything for the city, possibly. I don't know, because I'm not an MOU guy and do all that. I've worked here in Merced County since 2010. And so that's just my statement. I appreciate you guys letting me voice my concern about SWAG, and thank you.
Where's your son going to school at in Kansas?
He's at Ottawa University. It's an NAIA school. He plays defensive back. They got beat 78-28, but it's all good.
Awesome.
Next, we have Devon Hilliard.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff. My name is Devon Hilliard, and I am the founder of SWAG, Students with Aspiring Goals. We were founded in 2013, and we started off in Merced, California, started servicing the kids in Merced County. Today I'm here due to frustration, optimism, and a little bit of concern. So back in 2018, we started building our SWAG building at Beluga Court in mid-construction, put up 2 parcels for us, donation, from his heart. We didn't drop no money. And then we got contacted by the city, and they stated that, hey, this is a zone for cannabis. So we said, uh-oh. So then we got, called in, to the office, and we met with Lori Waterman, Chief Salvador, Brian Raymond, Greg Thompson, Greg Prieto, and our staff, just to kind of talk about what are some different viable options. So after that, everybody kind of agreed, Chief, I think Chief, he kind of brought it up, said, hey, Veterans Park, that looks like a good place, to maybe house, these kids, and maybe possible put a, facility out there, on the old BMX track that's, got the, high weeds and everything right there. So we talked about that. We talked about possibly taking over some of the City of Atwater's programs, not taking over Parks and Rec, but taking over some of the city's programs due to the fact that I don't think it gets a good rep around here. A lot of people go, to Merced to play, different, parks and or in sports due to the fact that they just don't like it, they feel like it's unorganized or whatever it is. So we said, hey, that's our subject matter expert. That's what we do. We work with kids, we work with sports. That's our thing. So in 2019, that's when we had our meeting. We talked about the MOU. Hey, let's get this MOU drafted. Let's get it signed. A year later, still no MOU. On September 3rd, I believe, our attorney met with city attorney, Corey Billings, and then we had our business advisor and had everybody on the line, or Zoom call, and then our attorney stated that she could send the MOU to the city attorney and, get things rolling so you guys could maybe possibly just edit it, and then kind of go from there, maybe, go back and forth, negotiate from there. So from there, I guess today, I talked to her today, even to today's date, she hasn't heard anything from, city staff or anything in regards to our MOU. So it's been over a month that we sent it over there. And then we had a meeting last week, and we actually gave the city staff that was in that meeting the MOU also. So coming here today to request maybe the city council could maybe put a fire on some of the city staff and let's look at this MOU so we can get this stuff situated. It's tough for the youth. It's tough for the youth out here, and it's I grew up here, the military base. And it was a lot different, right? Of course, it was a lot different, but I grew up at the youth center, lock-ins and playing sports out there, and I just think that we need to kind of bring up some life, over there. So I'm just requesting, hopefully we could be on the agenda November 9th, next month, and hopefully we can get this process expedited. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jose Cibrian.
Welcome.
My name is Jose Cibrian. I am a local realtor. I am a father of 2 children, and I'm also a soccer coach for Atwater Blue Flames. I've moved here in 1994 from a big city. In the beginning, I hated it. Most kids, I think, see the small town, and it was a tough transition from a big city. Shortly thereafter, a few years, my family and I, we loved it here. We had 3 different restaurants and 5 corners, and I'm here to stay. I buy and sell homes for my clients because I believe that Atwater has a lot to offer everyone. But the youth, there's always a gap there. And ever since I've met the guys from SWAG, Students with Aspiring Goals, I believe in what they're doing because I've seen exactly what they do for these kids, boys and girls. Some kids that may or may not have an opportunity to go to a school now have that opportunity and are thriving. Like the gentleman said before, his son is thriving out there. And we need to support these people to continue so they can support our kids. My son, when he was a little boy, he used to look at the police cars and say that it said a beautiful place to grow. And Atwater is a beautiful place to grow. But you guys need to help them help the kids so that we can continue to have a beautiful place to grow in Atwater. We all believe in it. We believe in you guys, so please help these guys out, okay? That's all I'd like to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't have any more cards, Mayor.
So any members of the public like to come forward at this time for public comment? Please state your name for the record. Welcome.
I live on 1601 Drakely Avenue in Atwater. I think we all know who the Johnsons are. I've lived here my whole life. I was born and raised here, and they have their signs out in the yard, and there's just this dispute with the city. I've only heard one side, and I really would like to know what the truth is. It's disturbing to my kids, that, they're older now. This has been going on for so long, but not to be able to give our neighbors water, and the police, being outside our house, we're asking, why are they, should I wait a moment?
No, go ahead.
I just want to know. I want some answers myself. You know what I mean? What's going on? That's it, pretty much. I would like some answers to that, what's happening in here. I've heard one side, so I need to hear your side. I don't want to think that our city is doing these different things, you know, but I want to know along with other neighbors and why we can't help with water. That's all. I'm sorry. Probably go on forever.
So we can't do it back and forth. So we'll take your comments. There's currently litigation going on between the Johnsons and the city, so it's pending litigation, so we can't comment.
Can I maybe expect this on like the next agenda to be addressed, or?
Not as, thank you for your comments.
So that's a no.
We'll have staff reach out to you. Ms. Wilson,
Actually,
1601, do you?
feel like you want to say something.
No. What I wanted to say is, and it is confusing, so for public comment, understand that we're here to hear public comment, but it isn't, we're not really legally able to go into open conversation. But because you've come and you've made a comment, what Paul is saying is we hear you, and we can have someone from the city reach out to you and let you know what we can and cannot talk about. But that's why, and before I was on the council, I always wondered, people come up and ask questions and the council members just sit there, they don't answer them. That's why it is public comment. You can come and say anything you want and we listen.
Thank you.
That's why we don't try to be rude. It's just your time to speak, and we want to be respectful and allow you to say anything you want.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
My daughter's here, and
Absolutely.
she's 16 now, and has been, you know, this has been going on for a long time, and she.
It's difficult when you say to us and we stare at you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Would like some answers.
So ma'am, the police chief will get with you and get your telephone number. We have your address or your name already.
Okay.
So that we can reach out to you.
Thank you. And one more thing to the gentleman that was talking about the city, or as far as for the youth, I think that's great, and I'm for that too. That would be great to have a lot going. Swag. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief, you don't mind getting her information? Any other members of the public? What a gentleman.
I don't know if I'm able to adjust this.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you for seeing me today. My name is Elisha, and I am a City of Atwater resident, and I missed the last council meeting, so forgive me if I'm a broken record. I wasn't able to watch it because it's not posted yet, but I wanted to come in person so you could see my face about how I felt and the disdain I felt for what occurred in the City of Atwater last month. And I'm talking specifically about the rally that happened at Bellevue Bowl. So I have my daughters back there. We love this town. We're excited for the splash pad and everything. And I know you can't comment because of Robert's rules and because of Brown Act, but I want you to rhetorically think about this question. How many times you, Mr. Kale, you, Mr. Amberes, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Miss Real, Mr. Paul Crichton, Mr. Splendoro, Miss Cindy, I'm butchering all your names, I'm so sorry, Vieira, and Miss Martin, how many times have you been called the N-word? I can tell you more than I can count. How many times have people driven by your house, waving Confederate flags, saying, "Ends, we're going to kill you"? It's happened to me. And I live in the Valley, and I'm in my early 30s, so this did not happen in the 1960s. So when I heard, and I went down there just to see what was going on, when I heard people saying white lives matter, it made me tremble a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And I thought to myself, am I here to raise my girls back there to be able to go through that again? And you may have your opinions and say, I was there to support the police. Okay, that's fine. Support the police when you pass your budget, your $5 million budget for them. That's fine. Support the police, that's fine. If you want to have a Trump rally, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But when I hear people yelling out white lives matter, it makes me scared. And I don't know, you probably wasn't your intention, but like up until last month, I was like, woo, Atwater. And I'm like, ooh, Atwater, I don't know. I gotta watch my back a little bit. It made me scared. And so members up here who were there and were supporting it, just know that that's how it made me, a black resident, feel. Less than 4% in this county are black. I don't feel safe anymore. I just wanted you to hear my voice. I'm shaking a little bit. And I wanted you to see that. It's frightening. So that's pretty much all I want to say in the last 24 seconds. I don't expect you to comment or say anything, but the next time you go to something like that, and don't say that, oh, it was because people were yelling out Black Lives Matter. Okay. That was not a Black Lives Matter march. That was not set up by Black Lives Matter. That was set up to agitate. It was not set up to support the police. That was not the intention of that march. It was set up to agitate people, and it worked. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
City council members, how are you guys doing? It's good to see you guys again.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Jermaine Pastor. I'm the mentor coordinator with students with Aspiring Goals. And just kind of want to elaborate on what some of my team was talking about, the importance of us having a building. It's so important. And for me and for the rest of my staff, it's like we're losing kids, and kids are slipping between the cracks. So being able to give them the opportunity and something to do, or something more to do as far as our training and different things like that, I think at these times it's so vital. For me growing up, I was a kid who ran these streets half my life, and now I'm spending a lot of the upper half, I want to say maybe not younger years, of my life running kids off these streets. And I feel that it's so important that we continue to do that. The greatest and best location for us, where it's at, it's perfect. Serving the determined area, serving the secretary area, and we all know that those are pretty rough patches. So for those kids that have the opportunities to be able to walk up and participate in activities, and even more than that, to just know that we're there. I think more than just doing an activity or even bouncing a ball is having someone to talk to that's going through a lot of those same things that they're going through now. And I think at these times, that's what's so important. So when we talk about the building, I think it's so much more than just the logistics. It would be awesome if we can kind of, get through these things as quickly as possible for the sake of our kids. We don't have anything right now to compete with. What we do have is a place that's open 24 hours a day, and that's called the Merced County Juvenile Hall, and that sucks. So it's always about rivaling that and having something to compete with that. And I think that's what we offer on a large scale. I really hope we can get this done. I appreciate you guys and value the hard work that you do and the difficult work that you do as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public? Please state your name for the record.
Lori
Welcome.
Johnson. Okay, so first off, I have to say, I was at that rally, and I don't remember anybody saying White Lives Matter. I remember everybody saying All Lives Matter. There's a big difference, because I believe that every life is important, and every life should be treated fairly and with respect. So on another note, I guess I'm here to tell you guys what you guys are all doing up here. Okay, so after the last meeting, I heard the comments that were made from you guys, and I know I'm disrespectful for leaving after I speak, but I know I'm not getting answers, and most of the time I leave, I'm frustrated, but the mayor did tell my ride to leave, so that was my ride. And I did hear Danny Ambrose and others mention that it was the prior council, the prior city leaders, but I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys signed on knowing there was unresolved issues in your city, knowing that you guys were gonna have to resolve these issues. And you came to my door, I talked to you before you were voted in, and it seems that the promises that were made were based on, am I gonna get voted in? But let me tell you, you guys are seat fillers. The problems that are in the city belong to the city. And the people that are signing on to represent the city are the ones responsible for taking on what the other city leaders did. Knowing that there was problems, each one of you guys signed, came to this council, ran for council knowing we were here and that all this was done to us. I never hear you guys deny it, because you guys do know full well that we've been through some major hell here. And so I'm here, I guess, to inform you that it's not like we get a different council so the problems that the city created, it goes away, because that's not fair. Because the people they did it to, you can just change council all the time and nobody will ever be taken care of. This was intentional. All this stuff that happened to us from way back, I have like a gap in my memory, so I found a whole bunch of stuff, and it went back to 2011 and all these police reports for the same thing. And I'm telling you, it was intentional. The overtime hours that you guys paid for police to sit in front of my home, most of the time shining spotlights into my room, is tremendous. And you guys subpoenaed my journals, my private journals. You guys read them, so my friend decided to calculate all those hours. So God only knows how many more hours the cops were spent there. Those are only the ones that I seen them and documented them. What needs to be done is this council needs to take responsibility for the city. Because that's who they represent.
You will not take our home. We will stay in that house.
Thank you.
You don't take our home from us.
Any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Welcome. State your name for the record, please.
My name is Cleveland Mason. Cleveland Mason.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members.
Sir, if you don't mind, can you pull the microphone?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Cleveland Mason, and I'm a single grandparent of a 10-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. I had both of them enrolled in the SWAG program on 2 different occasions. And I must admit that this is a very incredible and impressive program. Both my grandchildren greatly benefited from their involvement with the SWAG organization. Their wonderful staff was very helpful in improving upon their academics, as well as building upon their character. My granddaughter is now a straight A student, and her brother, my grandson, is not very far behind. This program is desperately needed within our communities, especially with the increase in gangs, drugs, violence, and among our youth. SWAG is excellent. SWAG is exactly what this community currently needs. It will give our youth direction, purpose, and a positive outlook on life. My personal experience with SWAG has been great. They have an amazing staff led by Yvonne Hilliard, Jermaine Astor, and Eddie Frazier. The entire staff are excellent role models. The SWAG program itself is quite impressive once again. I realize that SWAG has come across some obstacles lately that has affected their ability to expand and grow. I don't know much about the problem, but I do know that we should not allow our bureaucracy and roadblocks to prevent such a quality organization such as SWAG from providing our youth of this community with this incredible services. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that come forward at this time? Please come to the podium, state your name.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. My name is Neil Richards. Also on behalf of the SWAG program, I'm kind of more on the baseball end, help coach volunteer time, just like you guys selves. Most of us coaches here, I think one thing that people failed to mention was that most of us that are involved with the program on the coaching or the mentorship or any type of leadership, it's all after hours work for us. Volunteer time, complete time. The work that's been done out there already has been all volunteer work for ourselves and parents of the baseball family and stuff. So just again, want to reassure that what the efforts are, what the intentions are, and what the motivations are of the SWAG program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other members of the public like to come forward at this time? Welcome, state your name.
Evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I was just coming up to congratulate Mr. Tyler Button for being appointed to District 2. Just want to state that I pray for wisdom for all of our council members and all the staff in our city, and I pray for wisdom for him while he's on council, also for even leaders in the state and then to the presidency. And just that, I understand that council wants to make the citizens, the residents first, and I just hope that our council continues and our staff continues to keep the residents first, because that's what matters. Government doesn't have power but for the consent of the people. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that come forward at this time? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Okay. City Council matters. Got something pretty exciting here to drop on you guys. Item 16, adopting a resolution authorizing the early retirement of the loan from the wastewater treatment plant enterprise fund to the general fund. So basically, what this is City of Atwater becoming debt-free, other than our obligated pensions and things like that. There was a illegal loan given to the city through the wastewater fund years ago. I believe it was $6 million or $8 million, pretty high. I want to recognize Councilman Raymond. Brian, are you out there? Can you hear what we're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilman Raymond's been here, how many years you been on the council?
6, sir.
6 years now. And when Ms. Vieira and myself joined the council, the first thing that Raymond met with me on was the debt that the city's facing. And we talked about it and we strategized, and we had several city council meetings. Ms. Vieira, myself, Raymond, we strategized and we worked hard. The previous councils attempted it. But this council, we dug in and we added a few members to the council, and we really got some traction here the last couple of years. And I just want to thank Raymond for all your steadfast hard work on this. You never gave up through the years. And I think that's what one of the citizens just mentioned earlier, that we're the stewards of the people's house, their money, their city. So great job, council. I want to hear from each one of you guys up here and ladies about what we've done here. But first, I want to have the city finance director talk about what a monumental deal this is, because we were looking at bankruptcy back in 2008. And then just as recently as 2016, Councilman Raymond and I went up to the Sacramento and met with Paul Navarro, I believe, the state auditor. And we discussed this, and we came back with the realization that Atwater may not exist the way we knew it growing up. A lot of these guys talked tonight that the passion you guys see tonight with these people here in the room. One story after another about how great this town is, regardless of what obstacles or opportunities we have, we steadfast plowed through. So, Kelly, if you don't mind explaining how big this is and where we've come since you joined the ship also, and with the state auditors and some other stuff, because we want to take our time and lay this out really nice.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, this is quite an achievement by this council by doing the early retirement of this loan from the proceeds of the sale of 550 Commerce. This will allow the general fund to not have to pay back 9 scheduled payments to the wastewater fund. So this will pay it off early and be able to free up the general fund to do activities, general fund activities, which include both public safety and recreation, parks, all those activities that everyone's here for tonight. But this is through the conservative values of this council and adopting the repayment schedule, and now having one-time proceeds from the sale to apply those to retire this debt early is truly it's an achievement, and it will just puts us on a very strong path with the state auditor's office and being on their list, so to speak. This will be one item to get us off that list even earlier. So they had already put us on the path there, but this is another reaffirming step. And I just want to congratulate this council and their vision and their guidance, and having worked in local finance for the past 28 years and living in this area for that length of time, but having just started working here a little over a year ago, I'll tell you, watching Atwater over the last 20 some odd years, I'm very proud to say that I'm a member of this organization. And I think that probably 15 years ago, that wouldn't have been something that I would have aspired to be. And I'm very happy to be here and happy to be able to carry out the council's wishes.
Thank you, Kelly. Councilman Raymond, you want to say anything?
Yes, I do, actually. This is something that we've worked hard for a long time. And we had to fight and crawl and kick and scratch and, everything we had to. And, if we get this through and the bond obligation paid off, the debt obligation paid off, it's just a huge accomplishment. It's what I campaigned on in 2014. It's what, campaigned on in 2018. And before the term is up, we'll have it done. And it's just a huge deal, and I'm so excited. I'm glad we're here right now.
Awesome. Ms. Vieira?
Yeah, this is really exciting, but I don't want to forget that it's cool to be on a council when this happens. You get to actually take credit for some good stuff, because when things go wrong, we take that decredit, whatever is the word I'm looking for. But we need to remember that through all of that, this city as a whole, the people that lived here, that didn't have use of the parks, the people that worked here that didn't have raises, that were put on furlough, the police department, our fire department that's negotiated contracts. It's everybody in this entire city. So we struggle together, and together we'll thrive. And that's what's exciting, is to kind of be at the forefront when the time comes that we thrive, because we were sitting here at the time when there was an absolute struggle. And we took a lot of heat for that. I know that, it really was in our best intention to do good things. As my term begins to come to an end, and I've met with Tyler a couple times, and it's so refreshing to see the excitement and the eagerness in his eyes. And I'll never forget the first time that I met Paul Creighton was pretty much right there, Tyler, where you're sitting, and I'd heard his name. He was running. It was 4 years ago. I was running, and I went over and I said, "Hi, I'm Cindy. So nice to meet you." And I think it was a week later or something, we met. We had coffee to talk about our excitement and our goals. And they were so similar. And I remember thinking, wow, he's such a good guy. He wants the same things I do. He just wants good things. So it's kind of funny, because we've been, over this last 4 years, so many people have talked about our agendas and all the agendas that we have. And as I walk away and my term ends, I realize we did. It's true. We had an agenda. We had an agenda to do something good for the people in our community. I look at that splash pad and I'm like, you're right. I had an agenda. We have a gift we just gave to our entire city. That was on my agenda. So I was wrong. We did have an agenda. And now we're seeing some things on that agenda come to the front and work out. So as we celebrate tonight, it feels good to us, but soon the citizens are going to celebrate, better parks, better amenities for them, and not have to worry that they're going to, not have the services that they need. We do still have a huge hurdle in front of us when our Major H retires. That's something we're going to want to look at. So for our citizens, we're not out of the woods yet, but this is definitely a really cool stride forward. That's all for now.
Okay. Ambrose or Kale, you like to say anything? Competition, I like that.
I'll go ahead and keep mine short. This way, this gentleman can. It's nights like this that definitely make me proud that I did sign up to represent the city. Our residents voted us in, believing that we can make a difference. And again, this shows that we are moving in the right direction and making that difference happen. So definitely It's not just us up here though too, it is the staff. So thank you guys for your support and all the hard work you guys are doing. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed.
So, I've only been on this council for 2 years. And I remember shortly after getting on the council, we had a strategizing meeting, and we were talking about things that we wanted to accomplish. And I remember especially Brian saying, we need to make sure we do this, we need to make sure we do that. And I believe it was at that meeting where positive progress came about. And in the last 2 years, we've gone through a bunch of things. Like Cindy said, that we got the splash pad done in this. We've had, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Thompson, but 30 new businesses in the last 2 years coming to Atwater. And
31, John.
Oh, the 31 now. So we have businesses coming in here. We have people telling us that we're doing a great job and we're not arguing with each other and things are not out on social media saying the council did this and the council did that and it was horrible. I'm proud of what we did, but nothing can be more proud of the past council working so hard to make sure we pay this off, because this is like paying your mortgage off. And like Ms. Vieira said, we're able to take that money now and start doing even more, even continued positive progress for the city. So I'm excited, and I think I'm thinking we should have a party. Okay, that's it.
Okay. So I agree with what everybody said. But it goes back to the citizens of Atwater. We're here, we're listening to what you guys are saying. Again, if the government doesn't listen, it's not going to work. We're the only community in California right now, basically I would say maybe even the nation, that we're able to do major paving projects, $60-some million water treatment facilities coming into town. We're going to have the best drinking water probably in the nation. You see Flint, Michigan's on the news all the time. All these other things happening. We got splash pad for the youth. We got swag team here wanting to do stuff for the older kids. We've got recreation giving a great program today of what we've done and where we're going. Our police department modernization, we're still in the middle of that, but things for Atwater have never been this great. And during the worst time in Atwater's history, we see adversity and challenges, and we don't get down on ourselves or about us. It's about doing the right thing and doing what you guys told us to do and executing. And that gives me chills, because that's what's really cool about being up here, is being able to put a team together for the finance director, the chief, the public works superintendent, to the community development director, city manager, city attorney, city clerks, public works out there. I tell you, they did some stuff. Manuel Barris Parks, and God bless Manuel, I miss him. They were told to go do some stuff the other day out there, and they did it better than a professional landscaping company could have done it. I was so impressed when I went out there. I was given accolades, which I don't give too often. I'm pretty hard on public works, but those guys were doing a great job. Things are changing because they wanted to change also. So what a fabulous time to be alive and be part of something right now with the city of Atwater and all you people that make Atwater great. I'm just glad to be part of this. So, Brian, what's your direction on this? Or wait, let me open it up.
Motion to approve the resolution as presented.
I'm sorry, I forgot to open up public comment. I was so excited. So this time we'll open up public comment. Do we have any comment cards on this?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Any members of the public, please come forward. State your name. Welcome.
Welcome. This is a good time. I remember walking the campaign trails with Councilman Raymond. This was his goal. This is what he knocked on doors and told everybody about. And it's a great day, because I can remember one time when we were sitting there, we were tired. We were like, oh, can we hit some more before dark? Knock on some more doors. And I remember Brian identifying 550 Commerce. He goes, that's the key. If we can get that property done and sold, it'll put us over the top. So I know it took all of your work to get there. It took everybody's work, all the staff and everything to get this done, but congratulations and well done, Councilman Raymond.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that come forward at this time? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment, bring it back to Councilman Raymond.
Motion to approve the item as presented.
I'll second that.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Viera? Yes. Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
Emphatic yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Billings, item number 17, that's to the citizens of Atwater. Item 17, discussion and possible action regarding a city event celebration for the early retirement of the general fund nagging debt. Corey Billings. As a recreation department, do you think it would be possible to come up with some ideas or your thoughts on what we could do?
Mr. Mayor, this is a monumental occasion, and we need to be celebrating these occasions. And there are already organizations who have been making contact with the events department, stepping up saying, let's celebrate. So we will be able to put something together without the use of public funds to bring this monumental occasion to the light of everybody and have a large activity of some sort at the appropriate time.
Do you think you'd be able to reach out to like Old Town Atwater, Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis?
We have some church groups who've already stepped
Church
forward and said,
groups?
let's do something. One of your service clubs will absolutely be in there, and I will continue to reach out to others and
So more of a celebration, some discussion here with the council of thanking the residents for their steadfast support and their direction is what this celebration would be for, so we can move forward. Councilwoman Vieira, any comments on the party? Raymond?
As long as it's private funds, not public funds, we can
We're hoping American Realty would be the biggest contributor.
I'm all too hard to pay off the debt to go back into it for a party.
So you're saying American Realty is donating how much? Kale?
I couldn't hear you.
Cutting out?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm sure we can get Old Town Atwater to do something, help out greatly, easily.
Amber, did you have any comments?
Was this our public comment period? Our comment period?
Just want to know what the council's thinking.
Oh,
I don't know about a party. Maybe let's triple our wages for what we get paid up here.
Triple our wages? That's
Yeah.
zero still.
As long as our residents are aware of that we still get a fat zero paycheck from being up here.
Well, maybe we can get Old Town and Rotary and the other groups to feed us. We work for food.
I'm sure we will have a great celebration of some sort at the right time.
We're excited, looking forward to that. Okay, council comments. Raymond?
You know, there's not much more that I can really say other than, thank you, Atwater. Thank you for dealing with us for the last, however many years, with the city going in debt and, finally getting to the point where we can be a true solvent city, especially during the times of COVID. Nextly, November 3rd is election day. Make sure you go out and vote and your civic duty. Everybody should have their ballots in the mail. And, that's key, it's going forward for the future. Also, I just want to thank all the people from SWAG that came out today. I know that they have a true passion for the youth in the city of Atwater, and hopefully we can come to some kind of resolution with them in the future.
Kale?
Again, paying off that debt is amazing, and I'm so proud of the citizens of Atwater and everybody doing that. I want to especially thank the staff for doing a good job, and I'm very glad that that Echo Green thing was passed today, because I'm sure that ever since I went in and helped the Downtown Atwater Association, which is the old name, turned into the Old Town Atwater, and provided some direction for them. I'm glad that they're going to be excited to hear that all the lights on Broadway, Linton Way, and the other areas, especially on Broadway, are going to be LEDs, and it's going to be light up a whole lot better. And again, I want to make sure that all of our citizens out there are taking extreme care this year during the Halloween season. And I have not heard anybody who said, I'm not giving out candy because of COVID. I'm trying to build a chute so that kids don't have to come close to us, and make sure we get out there, they get their candy, but more than anything, make sure we're very careful and they get lights and they're holding, they can be seen and not hit by any car, and or anybody take control of your dogs and everything. Other than that, don't forget to vote November 3rd so that your voice can be heard. Thanks.
Beer?
Yes, I have lots to say, but I'll make it quick. So because I'm running out of time, literally, I think I only have 2 more meetings, so I do have a lot to say. Okay, so I did take a moment, may have spoken out of turn tonight, and explained to one of our citizens who showed up when it comes to public comment. That was always weird for me before I was on the council, as to why do they not say anything? And that's why we're just here to listen so your voice can be heard. Then we have the end of the meeting, so I get to let my voice be heard. No, we didn't know all the problems that Atwater had when we joined on. Tyler doesn't know all the problems he's going to be stepping into, so those are learned. And I can be shamed for things other people did. I'm a big girl, I can handle that. There are ways, and I'm probably on a gray line here, so I've been here with the city for 4 years, and I can tell you this, to my knowledge, and I know a lot, City of Atwater has never foreclosed on a city in the last 4 years, and that's not the line of work that we're in. And if you have any questions and you want to know about that, it's a matter of public record. Anybody can look up public record to see the title of an event on any home as to who's bought it, sold it, what liens are against it, if there's taxes, and that's for you as citizens. If you're curious as to how business is going, you can look that up for yourself. Just because I'm in the business, I thought it was just some good knowledge that everybody would want to know. Everybody that I sit up here with, these are just normal people that have families, and they have hearts, and they have really big hearts. And so sometimes when you look at a meeting and all you see are comments about the dumb idiots that run the city of Atwater, the dumb idiots took you from a $6.8 million debt when we first sat up here 4 years ago to being debt-free. So anytime someone wants to call us dumb idiots, I want to be a part of the group of the dumb idiots, because these people have been very kind to me. I've seen them be very kind to our city. I've seen them work through a lot of problems and help a lot of people. These are just really good people. They're your neighbors. They care a lot about you. So for the people who want to know what we're doing in the city of Atwater, you can dig deep and find out, because they're just really good people. They're no different than anybody else watching this or being curious, us and our agendas. So I'm almost done. Only one more meeting, and then you don't have to hear from me anymore. But it's as I get to the end of my term, I know it's a little emotional, but it's been an absolute honor to be a part of this team, and I'm so proud that we paid off that debt. And I've seen Brian vote no on every tax raise, and every time we tried to raise water or sewer, garbage, whatever. So Brian has been a good little soldier. So I'm very proud of him and very honored to call him my friend, as all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ambrose?
Oh,
First, let me just come out and say, no, I have never been called the N-word. I don't know and probably would never know what it's like to be a Black American. But I can tell you what it's like to be someone of mixed race. Again, no, I was never called the N-word, but I was called chinker. I was called wetback. I was called everything else. So I understand some of the hate that you guys feel, or people feel, I should say, when things are said. I was at that rally, but I was not supporting either side. I was there just to make sure that our citizens were kept safe and nothing else was going to happen. If there's any other individual that wants to talk to me about that type of situation, my numbers is published every month in our newsletter. I'm willing to listen. I don't believe any side is the right side. I believe that we should all just learn to love each other because all of our lives matter, not one over the other. Also, changing the subjects a little bit. Yes, I knew exactly what I was getting into when I signed up for City Council here. And like Councilwoman Vieira said, I didn't know every single thing that we were getting into. But for the most part, we have corrected a lot of the wrongs that were done, corrected a lot of the issues. There will always still be issues that's not corrected by this council or the following council. We're up here to try to make the most of our time and get things done correctly. Not just so we can pat ourselves on the back, but to make you residents, the residents of Atwater, proud of us. For all the parents who came up and spoke about their children and all their achievements, congratulations. That is something to be extremely proud of. And I hope when my daughter gets old enough, as well as my son, that they can participate in such programs and go further in life. Happy belated birthday to one of my brothers. Happy birthday to another one that's coming up. On the 31st, you guys watch for all the kids that will be out there trick-or-treating. And then again, here soon, kids are coming back to school, so definitely watch how you're driving. It's gonna be pretty dark out there in the morning. We're gonna have kids walking to school still, so definitely watch out for them. And last, this week makes 5 years that my dad passed away. And I just want to say miss you and hope I'm making you proud.
Thank you. Okay, so I've got about 15 minutes longer than you went. So, no, I'm really excited. I can't tell you guys how cool it is to be here during these times. They've worked really hard, staff's worked really hard. Chief, trick-or-treating here at City Hall, can you give us a headlight on what's going there?
Yes, it can. I hope this works, yeah. Okay, we are going to have a socially distant trick-or-treat line out in front of the police department from 5 o'clock in the evening until we run out. We have 500 trick-or-treat bags, up 2.5 times over last year. Last year we put out 250 trick-or-treat bags because, 250 trick-or-treat bags, they go all night. It went in 45 minutes. So we didn't have anything. So we doubled it this year. Please, when you're bringing your kids in, it's going to be a trick-or-treat bag, a coloring book, and some candy. Please, when you bring them in, do stay 6 feet apart. Keep your crews together. But my personnel will be at the window starting at 5 o'clock until we run out. So we hope to see everybody there. And please, this year especially,
Amber Alert.
Amber Alert, that's wonderful. this trick or treat is probably going to be just a little bit different than you would normally see. You're going to have a lot more, instead of walking trick or treaters, you may have driving trick or treaters. So please be careful when you're out there on our streets. And watch for cars and watch for kids running in between them, because I think this year is going to be one of those weird ones. We'll see.
And then, Corey, can you remind everybody coming to the podium about the porch thing for Halloween?
Absolutely. If you have had the opportunity to check out the city website, we are doing a fall porch parade, and we have several entries out there. It's going to be a great evening. Again, it's just to recognize and celebrate in a different way than we have in the past. So several members of our community obviously have decorated their homes and their porches and their businesses.
So fall porch parade could be Halloween, Thanksgiving.
There are categories as to fall. There are lots of people who don't necessarily celebrate Halloween as a spirit or anything like that, or spooky. So we have a category for people who have decorated.
There's some pretty cool ones in town.
Absolutely. And then we have another category for those who have decorated in the spooky fashion. Those will be judged mid this week, and should be watching the Facebook pages and the city webpage for the results. But we have asked those members who have participated to please keep those decorations up through the Halloween weekend, so that those people who choose to get on the city website can see where those homes are, and then go out and drive by, walk by, and celebrate and enjoy festivities.
Awesome. Yeah, we have some pretty fabulous porch decoration, yard decorations. I think we have probably the best in the valley on some of these houses over here. I think there's one over on First and Juniper area that I get a lot of phone calls on, and people are driving in from Modesto and Turlock area. So those homeowners they're in the spirit, and I like that. So also the splash pad the council talked about opening up. Cindy, you never let go of that. So 4 years, you were like about being a grandma the whole time. We're gonna get something for the kids. All sizes can do the splash pad, but the little ones are gonna have a blast. And I'm looking forward to when we get through COVID and we can open that up, Corey. So that's gonna be really cool. You guys are enjoying Winton Way. Council worked really hard, staff, Madison, Greg, hats off to you guys. Great job there. I enjoy driving Winton Way, but the best part about Winton Way right now, I left the Highway Patrol Station area from Tractor Supply, came across, and the lights were synchronized. I started slowing down. I said, oh, they're not going to work. And then boom, it turned green. Then I got to Olive, it turned green. Then I got down to Bellevue and Winton Way, and it turned green. So amazing. We can get through town. We're saving fuel, saving wear and tear on cars, and getting people to work and home. Good job. So a lot of compliments on that. No complaints. That was really cool. Police department, chief, a lot of good compliments coming in. Calls for service. My area, we had some complaints. Kudos to the police officers that attended out there that dealt with that. Professionalism here is awesome. I mean, nobody's telling anybody to treat anybody special or anything else like that. And Secretary Determined area, I walked that the other day, and there's a lot of compliments from the law enforcement. They pull up, they park, they're accessible. Some of the guys have even walked around over there and kind of taken the tenseness out of the area a little bit. And that's one of my projects that I want to make sure that when I'm done up here eventually, that Secretary determines a better area to live, because that's a lot of kids over there. They need to know that we're here for them also. The sidewalk projects, I think we're in the $1 million plus range several times. In our community, we have a lot of dirt in front of people's homes. There's going to be some struggles like we were talking about tonight, but we're getting thousands and thousands of feet of sidewalk, curb, and gutter put into this town so that it's more accessible for the handicap and the kids. Mainly the kids is what this is focused for. So super excited about that. Atwater still is a place to move and be welcomed, and it's all inclusive for everybody. And there's more love and peace going around in this town than any community, I believe, in the valley. So excited about that. And don't forget to vote. Your vote counts. Please vote. And that's all I have to say, and thank you, City of Atwater. Meeting adjourned.